What's the weirdest thing that got smuggled into the barracks? Private Brendan Holloway showed up to our unit straight from basic training. Quiet kid from Vermont, kept to himself mostly. Nothing unusual about him until we noticed the smell. Week 2, this incredible aroma started drifting through the barracks. Fresh bread. Warm, yeasty, bakery quality bread. At 6 in the morning, our squad leader, Sergeant Vincent Caldwell, thought someone was hiding food from the dining facility. Started doing random inspections, found nothing. But the smell kept appearing. Different times, different days. Always that same amazing bread scent. Drove everyone crazy trying to figure out the source. I finally caught Brendan sneaking back to his room at 5 a.m. carrying a paper bag. Followed him quietly. Peeked through his door when he wasn't looking. The guy had converted his wall locker into a bread-making operation. 3 mason jars on the top shelf bubbling away. A hot plate hidden behind his uniforms. Mixing bowls, measuring cups, a small cooling rack. He was running a full bakery out of his locker. I knocked on the door. Brendan jumped like I'd fired a gun. Tried to close the locker, but I'd already seen everything. "Dude, what is this?" I asked. He looked terrified. Thought I was going to report him. Started explaining in this rushed, panicked voice. "It's sourdough starter. My grandmother gave it to me before I enlisted. Been in our family for 60 years. I couldn't leave it behind. It would die." I stared at the jars. "You smuggled fermented dough into the army?" "It's a living organism. Has to be fed every day. I couldn't abandon it." Turns out Brendan had been maintaining this sourdough starter since basic training. Kept it in his duffel bag, fed it in bathroom stalls, transported it across 3 states to our duty station. The hot plate came from a pawn shop in town. He'd been waking up at 4:30 every morning to bake bread before PT, hiding the evidence before anyone noticed. "Why not just let it die?" I asked. "It's dough." Brendan looked genuinely hurt. "This starter has been making bread for 3 generations. My great-grandmother brought it from Poland. My grandmother baked with it every Sunday. I promised I'd keep it alive." He pulled out a fresh loaf from under his bed. Still warm. The crust crackled when he broke it open. Handed me a piece. Best bread I'd ever tasted. Seriously, that crusty exterior, soft interior, perfect sour tang, made the dining facility bread taste like cardboard. "Okay, I won't tell anyone at all," I said, "but you're going to get caught eventually." 2 weeks later, Sergeant Caldwell finally tracked down the source. Walked into Brendan's room during an inspection. Found him elbow deep in dough, 3 loaves cooling on his desk. We all thought Brendan was finished. Article 15, extra duty, loss of rank. But Caldwell just stood there staring, then asked, "Is that homemade bread?" "Yes, Sergeant, I can explain." "How long have you been making this?" "4 months, Sergeant, since I enlisted." Caldwell picked up a piece, took a bite. His expression changed completely. "Holloway, this is incredible. Where'd you learn to bake like this?" Brendan explained the whole story. The family starter, the promise to his grandmother, the secret bakery operation. Caldwell listened without interrupting. When Brendan finished, Caldwell said something unexpected. "I'm not shutting this down, but we're doing it properly." Next day, Caldwell went to the commander, explained the situation, requested permission for Brendan to use the barracks day room kitchen for baking. Commander agreed on one condition. Brendan had to bake enough bread for the entire platoon. So Brendan's underground bakery became official. Every Sunday morning, he'd bake 20 loaves, fresh bread for breakfast. Guys would line up outside the day room like it was a restaurant. Word spread to other platoons. Soldiers from across the battalion started showing up, offering energy drinks, snacks, money, anything for a slice of Brendan's bread. Command heard about it. Instead of shutting it down, they made it a morale program. Gave Brendan better equipment. A real oven, professional baking tools, bulk flour deliveries. Brendan started teaching baking classes on weekends. Dozen soldiers learned to make bread. The day room smelled like a bakery every Saturday. Local news heard the story. Ran a feature about the soldier keeping his family tradition alive. Brendan's grandmother saw it, called him crying with pride. But the best part happened during our deployment to Kuwait. Brendan brought his starter, kept it alive in a climate-controlled medical storage unit, baked bread in a field kitchen every week. Same crusty, perfect loaves, in the middle of the desert. Visiting officers would stop by just to try the legendary deployment bread. A general requested Brendan's recipe for the army cookbook. He politely declined, said it was family secret. When we got back stateside, Brendan separated from the army, opened a bakery in Burlington using his GI Bill and savings, named it Barracks Bread Company. Still uses that same 60-year-old starter. Business is booming. Sergeant Caldwell retired last year. Works part-time at Brendan's bakery. Says it's the best second career he could ask for. That's how a jar of fermented dough became the weirdest and most successful contraband in military history.